Are there any brain-boosting foods for kids with ADHD? Foods that can actually improve brain function? If you've ever wondered this, then you are definitely in the right place today. It's no secret that what we eat has a profound impact on how we feel and how we function. And this is especially true for children dealing with ADHD. Nutrition plays a vital role in supporting brain health and really enhancing cognitive functions like memory and focus. And so today in this video, we'll explore how integrating specific foods into your child's diet can make a noticeable difference in their daily life. We'll discuss why it's important to avoid highly inflammatory foods such as gluten, dairy, soy, artificial flavors and colors, excess sugar, and highly processed foods. Now, these can often exacerbate ADHD symptoms, but it's not just about eliminating these harmful things. It's also about what you add to the diet. So we're going to cover the benefits of specific brain-boosting foods for you. Now, if you stick around to the end of this video, you'll walk away with a comprehensive understanding of how to craft a diet that really supports your child's brain health. Now, if you're new here, welcome to our channel. We share holistic, natural ways to really reduce ADHD symptoms in children. I'm Dana Kay, a board-certified health and nutrition practitioner, and I specialize in working with families of kids with ADHD, reduce those symptoms naturally. Before we dive into the specifics of brain-boosting foods, let's take, just a quick look at what ADHD really is and how it typically manifests in our children, especially in terms of memory and concentration. So ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is a neurological condition that affects a child's ability to concentrate. It affects their ability to control their impulses and maintain attention. Children with ADHD might find it really challenging to remember instructions or focus on schoolwork or stay engaged in activities that don't particularly interest them. And these challenges, they're not just frustrating for those who have ADHD, but also frustrating for the teachers, their coaches, and families that love them. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, what does diet have to do with all of this? Well, a lot actually. There is a huge amount of research suggesting a strong connection between what we eat and brain health, particularly in children with ADHD. The brain is an energy-intensive organ and it needs the right nutrients to function optimally. Certain foods can help provide the vitamins, the minerals, and fatty acids that are essential for all the important cognitive processes, including memory and focus. Diet can also influence behavior through various pathways, such as stabilizing blood sugar levels, reducing inflammation, and really influencing neurotransmitter function. So for example, diets high in, refined sugars and artificial additives might exacerbate hyperactivity and attention deficits, while omega-3 rich foods like fatty fish can support better cognitive function and behavioral regulation. Makes sense, doesn't it? So let's break down some of those key nutrients that are really essential, especially for our children with ADHD. We're going to start with those omega-3 fatty acids. So you've probably heard a lot about omega-3s, but what are they exactly? And why are they so crucial? So omega-3 fatty acids are a type of fat that is essential for our health. Our bodies can't produce them on their own, so we must get them from our diet. They are important for brain function as well as normal growth and development. And there are three main types of omega-3 fatty acids. We've got ALA, which is alpha linolenic acid. It's found in plant oils like flax seeds, walnuts, and chia seeds. We've got EPA, and we've also got DHA. And these are both primarily found in fish and other seafood. So EPA and DHA are really the ones I want to focus on today because these are vital for neural development and cognitive function, so really important for ADHD. They can help build brain cell membranes, they can support neural communication and reduce inflammation, all of which can significantly impact attention and cognitive processing in children with ADHD. Super important. Next up, let's talk about zinc. This is a trace mineral and it's a little powerhouse when it comes to neurotransmitter function and overall brain health. Zinc helps in the regulation of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that plays a role in pleasure, attention, and mood. And adequate levels of zinc can help control behavior and improve a child's ability to focus and respond to stimuli. Iron is another crucial nutrient that often doesn't get as much of a spotlight, but is important for kids with ADHD. Iron is involved in the synthesis of dopamine, which, as I already mentioned, is essential for attention and motivation. So low levels of iron can lead to diminished dopamine activity, which may exacerbate symptoms of ADHD in kids and in adults as well. We also want to think about magnesium, which is often referred to as the calming mineral. And magnesium is used in over 300 biochemical processes in the body. That's a lot. It is important for so many things: relaxation, muscle relaxation, supporting the immune system, keeping your heartbeat steady, regulating blood glucose levels, and also aiding in the production of energy. It's used for so many other things as well, but that's just a few. Many parents find that magnesium makes a surprising difference to their kids. It aids in their sleep, it helps reduce hyperactivity, and there are even studies supporting the efficacy of magnesium in anxiety, in depression, and in sleep. Stress actually depletes magnesium levels, so if you are actually already low in magnesium, anxiety can actually make your levels worse. So it does become this vicious cycle that you need to break. So keeping in mind the importance of omega-3 fatty acids, we've got zinc, iron, and magnesium, you might be wondering, what are the top brain-boosting foods that contain all of these nutrients? So I'm going to explore some of my favorites. Number one is fatty fish. Options like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are all excellent sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These fats, as I mentioned a moment ago, are crucial for brain function and development and are linked to improved concentration, which is what we want, and also reduced hyperactivity and reduced impulsivity. Now, listen, I know it can be hard to get kids to eat fatty fish. So stick around because I will definitely share some tips and tricks in just a bit. Now, our other top brain boosting food are pumpkin seeds and nuts. These are not only tasty snacks, but they're also rich in zinc, magnesium, and iron, three of the top minerals I actually mentioned earlier that play a role in neurotransmitter function and overall brain health. Now, pumpkin seeds in particular are one of the best plant-based sources of magnesium. Okay, brain-boosting food number 3. Who's as excited as I am? Eggs. Eggs have gotten a bad reputation in recent years because of their cholesterol content. But the truth is, there are many studies that confirm that eggs are, in fact, a superfood. And they're packed full of fiber and other nutrients our bodies need. One egg contains more than 20% of our daily need for vitamin D. It's often referred to as nature's multivitamin because eggs are a great source of antioxidants and choline, which is another nutrient that's vital for brain development and nerve function. Choline can help enhance memory and has been linked to better mood regulation, which is a definite plus for managing ADHD symptoms. Eggs also contain fiber, amino acids, vitamin A, B12, B2, B5, iron, and phosphorus. Berries and citrus are fruits that also are brain-boosting foods, and these include things like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, cranberries, oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruits, mandarins, and pomelos. These fruits are really high in antioxidants, including vitamin C, which helps protect brain cells from damage and support overall mental agility. The bright colors and the sweet flavors can also make them more appealing to kiddos and making them a super great snack for boosting alertness and focus. Now, one final food I want to mention is leafy greens, which include things like spinach and kale and Swiss chard. These greens are packed with folate, vitamin E, vitamin K, and fiber. Kale is one of the most nutritious greens available, and it's rich in antioxidants and high in fiber, calcium, iron, vitamin K, vitamin A, and vitamin C. Kale is also low in calories and very versatile. Spinach is high in iron, magnesium, and zinc, and one of my faves for kids with ADHD. But I do want to say that we don't want to eat too many of these greens because these greens do contain a high level of oxalates. Now, that is a topic for another day, but I did want to share them here today, that these greens support brain health by reducing inflammation and improving cognitive functions. Now, again, I know it can be hard to get kids to eat some of these foods, so I want to share some tips and tricks to make it just a little bit easier for you. Tip number 1 is sneak them in. One of the best ways to get these nutrient-dense foods in children's diet is by sneaking them in. Many of these foods, like kale, spinach, nuts, pumpkin seeds, and flax seeds, can easily be added to smoothies without changing the flavor at all. Now, to add veggies like kale, for instance, into the diet of a child who doesn't like leafy greens, I actually puree them and then add them to spaghetti sauces or soups without my kids and husband even knowing. You can also add some of these foods to baked goods, in particular the seeds, nuts, or fruits. The key is to add small amounts of the food to begin with so that the taste isn't noticeable. Tip number 2 is to swap out your snacks. Opt for nuts, seeds, berries, or citrus fruits for snacks instead of processed foods. You know, these seeds, these nuts, these fruits can also be added to salads, yogurts, smoothies, really to enhance the texture and, of course, the nutritional value. Tip number 3 is be silly. So many families of children with ADHD struggle with meals at the table. Take a listen and think about if your family dinners have any of these elements, okay? So children who can't stay seated or sit still. Children who refuse to let other people talk and interrupt all the time. Arguments, complaints about the food on the table. Irritability. So one tip that our families find super helpful when attempting to introduce healthier foods into their kids' diet is to make mealtime fun. When children enjoy meal times, they're actually more likely to eat the foods that are put in front of them. So, how can you make it fun, you ask? So I'm going to give you some fun ideas. Firstly, you can play a game of Guess What's in My Smoothie. Now, to do this, add all sorts of foods into your child's smoothie without them watching, and then really encourage them to guess each ingredient. Not only is this fun, but it's also a great way to encourage children to drink more of their smoothie and to get more of those great nutrients into their bodies. Another way to make eating healthier foods fun is to do a family food challenge. And this is one of my favorite things. Now, to do this, you want to introduce one new food a week. So each night at dinner, everyone in the family takes at least one bite of the new food. And once the bites are taken, a check mark is added to a chart. Once the family reaches the end of the week and has a certain number of check marks on the chart, the family gets a reward that everyone will enjoy, that you choose together. Another way to make mealtimes fun is to play an Eat the Rainbow game. Now, to play this game, you can draw a blank rainbow on a large piece of paper. Every member of the family gets a copy of this blank rainbow. And as the game progresses, children get to color the rainbow as they eat foods in that color. So for instance, if a child eats kale, then they get to color the green arch in the rainbow. If the child eats pumpkin, they get to color the orange arch, and so forth. Now, the first person who fills up their rainbow for the day wins. Hope this is making sense so far. We've talked about 3 tips. We've said sneak those foods in. We've said swap out your snacks and then make mealtimes fun. Now let's move on to tips number 4 and 5. Tip number 4, make it colorful. Children are often drawn to visually appealing meals, so try to incorporate a variety of colors and shapes into meals. Tip number 5, involve your child in the meal preparation and planning process. This can really be a great educational activity that enhances their interest in food and nutrition. Let them help with washing fruits, mixing ingredients, or assembling their plates. It's a really great way to discuss the benefits of each food they're adding, which can really encourage them to take ownership, encourage them to try new things and to eat healthier. When kids are involved, they are often more likely to eat the foods that they've made that are on the table. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is that for children with ADHD, having a consistent routine can also help reduce anxiety around meals and really improve eating habits. Try to serve meals and snacks at the same time every day to help regulate their body clocks and hunger signals. The consistency helps them really know what to expect and integrates mealtimes smoothly into their daily schedule. So far, we've talked about some of the most important nutrients for brain health, as well as specific brain-boosting foods. But are there foods that actually worsen ADHD symptoms too? And if so, what are these foods? That's what we're going to discuss now. There are, in fact, foods and additives that can really exacerbate ADHD symptoms, and I'm going to share briefly about the top ones here. But I've also got several other videos with additional information that I'm actually going to pop those links into the comments, so definitely take a look there for more. Now, first on the list of foods to avoid is gluten. It is found in wheat, barley, rye, and gluten can really exacerbate ADHD symptoms. It's highly inflammatory. So inflammatory, in fact, that I actually don't think anyone should be eating gluten, even those without a sensitivity to gluten. Avoid it completely. Dairy can also be problematic for kids with ADHD, and so can soy. Like I said, I have several videos that go into more details about these 3 foods, so make sure and check out the video descriptions below in the comments. Next up is artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives, and they're commonly found in candies, soft drinks, and processed snack foods, and these can also exacerbate ADHD symptoms. Now, Attitude magazine released an updated article about the effects of artificial flavors and colors on ADHD, and they said this: studies published in the Lancet Pediatrics and Journal of Pediatrics suggest that food additives adversely affect a population of children with ADHD. Now, 2 studies from the United Kingdom are good examples. In 2004, one studied healthy preschoolers after giving them either a placebo or 20 milligrams of artificial dye mix plus sodium benzoate. They found that when the children received the actual dye and sodium benzoate mixture, they had a significant increase in hyperactivity. In the second study, this was done in 2007, a research team led by UK researcher Donna McCann studied a group of 3-year-olds and 8 or 9-year-olds. It found that both hyperactive children and non-hyperactive children experienced, guess what? Increased hyperactivity scores when given artificial food colors and additives, suggesting that the dyes are a general public health concern. That means these additives are bad for everyone, not just for those that have ADHD. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that high sugar intake can affect kids with ADHD. Sugary foods and drinks can cause spikes in blood sugar levels, and it can lead to energy bursts, followed by crashes, which can affect concentration and also activity levels and mood. Many parents overlook the importance of blood sugar management because they kind of think of it in connection with diabetes, don't you? They don't think of it in connection with ADHD. But in reality, blood sugar management is important for all of us, whether or not we have diabetes. Unstable blood sugar contributes to a whole host of problems, including an inability to focus and concentrate. It includes increased anxiety, increased fatigue, an inability to sit still, digestive problems like constipation or diarrhea, a weakened immune system, and so much more. A stable blood sugar rise can create hyperactivity or anxiety, whereas a sudden drop in blood sugar can create a sluggish feeling, crankiness, or lack of focus. Anyone with elevated levels of blood sugar can experience adverse effects on mood and on executive function, along with a number of additional health issues. I just want you to take a listen to the following list of symptoms for hyperglycemia, which is actually low blood sugar. But I've got a little guest who's going to help me come up here and share those with you. So here are the symptoms. We've got difficulty listening, inability to focus or stay on task, being easily distracted, quick to get frustrated, and sometimes hard to calm down. We've got unexpected anger and or lashing out, unable to sit still. Now, I want to ask you something. Do any of those symptoms sound like your child with ADHD? Now, when my son was really struggling, he had pretty much every single one of these symptoms in excess. Really makes me wonder, are children that are struggling with these behaviors actually battling ADHD symptoms? What do you think, Koopy? Or is it fluctuating blood sugar? There's no way to know as long as the child continues to eat excessive amounts of sugar. So those are the top foods that can actually make ADHD symptoms worse. I'm going to list them out one more time just as a reminder. So get your pen and paper. We've got gluten, dairy, soy, artificial flavors and colors, and excessive amounts of sugar. You really want to replace these trigger foods with healthier choices. So I'm going to give you some nutritious alternatives and snack ideas for each of those 5 foods to avoid. Okay, for gluten, we want to opt for gluten-free grains like quinoa, rice, or gluten-free oats. These can be really great bases for meals and snacks without causing potential adverse reactions associated with eating gluten. For dairy, you want to explore dairy-free alternatives like nut milks, almond milk, coconut yogurt, or cashew cheese, which are seriously becoming more and more available and can be used as substitutes in various recipes. For soy, just read the labels carefully to avoid soy in processed foods. Instead, use whole foods like fresh meats, fruits, and veggies. Now, for artificial additives, we want to aim to choose organic or all-natural products that are free from artificial colors or dyes, flavors, and preservatives. And this can really significantly reduce the intake of these potential irritants. And they are in a lot of candy. Now, for sugar, reduce intake of refined sugars and opt for natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup in moderation. Incorporating more fruits as snacks can also really satisfy those sweet cravings in a much healthier way. By being mindful of these dietary triggers and choosing healthier alternatives, you can help minimize the dietary impact on your child's ADHD symptoms. Isn't that right, Koopy? Remember, each child is unique, so it may take some experimentation to find out which foods affect their symptoms the most. But the foods that I mentioned in this video today are really an excellent place to start. Okay, let's recap. Here are some of my brain-boosting foods for kids with ADHD. So we've got fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, pumpkin seeds and nuts, eggs, berries, and citrus fruits. We've got leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. These foods are rich in the top nutrients that we talked about, and those were magnesium, zinc, iron, and omega-3 fatty acids. So even though it can be tricky to get these foods into picky eaters, I want to tell you it's definitely possible. And I shared several tips and tricks to help you in this video. So as you make these changes, keeping a food diary can really be a helpful tool in tracking food intake and behavioral changes, really allowing for that more tailored, targeted dietary adjustments to support your beautiful child. Guys, thank you for joining us today, me and Koopy, as we explored the powerful, and I mean powerful, connection between nutrition and ADHD management. I really hope you found these insights on brain-boosting foods and dietary strategies helpful for supporting your child's journey. Now, I want to hear from you guys. If you've tried any of these approaches, or if you have other experiences with ADHD and nutrition, I would love to hear from you. Why don't you share your stories or any additional questions that you might have in the comments below? It's through these sharing that we really all learn and grow and not feel so alone. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and also subscribe to our channel for more practical advice on managing ADHD using natural strategies. I am here to provide you with the support and information you need, so definitely stay tuned for more helpful videos.